What is up guys, welcome to my first vlog in which I'm gonna speak about moving to Luxembourg, what is it like living here, finding a job and other interesting things that you might want to know. And don't worry, I'm gonna skip the part where I explain where Luxembourg is, what the population is, how many people live here, the weather and stuff like that. If you are watching this video, you've already probably decided to move here or you're planning to do so in the near future. So I'm going to get straight into some points. I have my list here with topics that I'm going to cover in this video. I'm going to leave some timestamps as well. So just in case you already know about some things, you can just skip them and go to the parts that you want to know about. Okay, so the first topic that I'm going to cover is salary, jobs, where to find them, what you can expect. The minimum salary in Luxembourg is 2,200 euros as per 2022. Depending on the job that you're looking for and obviously your experience, it can go a lot higher, but that's like the minimum that you should ask for if you're planning to move here. If you're coming from a corporate job, then you should be expecting anywhere between 50 and 60k as a starting salary, which would be the base. After that, you can expect to go up to 100k per year. Finding a job here isn't that difficult compared to other cities because not many people want to move here. For me, the best website that you can find a job in Luxembourg is obviously LinkedIn. You have plenty of choices there, plenty of companies are moving here. So you can go through specific skills, you can search for a specific job that you're good at, for example, IT, compliance, regulatory and stuff like that. You'll be able to find lots of recruiters there. You can just reach out and see what they have to offer you. There's also a website called jobs.lu. That's the official website for Luxembourg where you can search for jobs. Since you clicked on this video, I'm guessing that you've already have a job offer, so you're just looking to see some useful tips. What is that living in Luxembourg? So the second topic that I'm going to cover is a place to live. Guys, I cannot stress this enough because finding a place to live in Luxembourg is super difficult. So I would suggest you to try and search for a place maybe 1 or 2 months before coming to Luxembourg. And just to let you know that even if it's not a season here, finding a place to stay is very difficult. Like all the hotels fully booked, so you have to prepare very well. I'm gonna leave some agencies that I personally think that are legitimate enough that will assist you in finding a place to stay here. I'm gonna put them in the description down below. For rental cost, you can get a place in Luxembourg city center for about 2,000 euros per month. That will provide you a 1-bedroom apartment, which is not very good for the money, but yeah, it's a high standard country, so this is what you can expect. If you're thinking about living in cross-border destinations, because lots of people do it, Germany is very nearby. The Trier is the nearest city. Belgium, the nearest city in Belgium is Arlon, and also France, which is Metz and Thionville. But let me tell you, before you think about living outside of Luxembourg, there are a few things that you should know, and your employer is not going to mention them. And also nobody told me, I had to find out by myself. So for each country, there is a specific law, and if your job is offering a hybrid remote working policy, which means that you can work 3 days from the office, 2 from home, that might not be the case, because in Germany, you have 19 days in which you can work from home. After that, like if you want to work more than 90 days from home, you will have to pay double tax. So you have to register it in Germany, pay tax there, plus pay tax here, which is not very convenient because you're going to be taxed double. The same goes for France and Belgium, and the difference is that you have a little bit more working days from home, but I don't think they pass like 34, 37, something like that. It's not very high. Also, even if you go from Luxembourg city center to any of those 3 cities by car, obviously, or by bus for about 1 hour, you can get there by car for about 45 minutes on the weekends. However, if you try to do this during the weekdays, that time goes up to 1.5 hours, up to 2 hours as well. I lived in Trier for about 1 week and I had to travel for 2 hours on the weekdays from Monday to Friday. It has like a huge traffic on the highway and I really do not recommend it. If you can find a place to live in Luxembourg, that would be perfect for you because you don't have like a limit on which you can use your remote working policy. Even though living in those countries is pretty cheaper compared to Luxembourg, I don't think it's personally worth it. Also, if you're thinking about moving here, I would suggest you to have a car with you. If you don't have a car, don't think that you can come here and buy one, because it will probably be much more expensive to buy a car here than in your home country. Also, if you want to come here and live in a hotel, because in my situation when I came here, we stayed for 1 week in a hotel thinking that it's enough time to find a place, because in Bulgaria, for example, 1 week is plenty of time, and agencies start calling you right after you tell them what you're expecting from a property, and they offer you multiple choices that you can select. Well, here it's not the case. Agencies literally do not lift their fingers if you're not here in person and you speak with them, and even then they are not very helpful. My advice is just try as hard as you can to find a place to stay before you come here in Luxembourg. As I said, in my case, we came here, and 1 week after that we didn't find a place to live, so we had to book another hotel. But unfortunately everything was fully booked. Airbnb, booking.com, everything was full. So we had to travel to Trier. That's what I mentioned, that I lived for 1 week in Trier. And we had to travel back and forth for like a week, which is super exhausting. 2 hours a day per destination. This is so 4 hours in total you spent just in traveling. It was terrible. So my personal suggestion is, if you're not able to find a place in the city center, you can look for other places which are not exactly in the heart of Luxembourg city. For example, Esch, which is very nearby, 1 hour with a bus. So 1 hour with a bus may sound a lot, but trust me, it's not here. So rent there can go as low as 1,400 euros per month for a 1-bedroom apartment. That's excluding the bills. The bills usually in the city center vary between 150 to 150 euros per month. That's electricity, water, heating. The same goes for Esch. Another fact that you might not know is, when you try to find a place to live, most of the agencies will ask you to provide some sort of documents, which you might think that it's way too personal, but trust me, it's very normal for people here to ask those things. The first thing is your work contract, the actual one, not a copy. Also, a copy of your ID or passport, and if you're living with a partner, theirs as well. So employment contract and copy of your ID. Also, they might ask you how much exactly you're going to be paid. The first time they asked me this, I was like, whoa, what is this? You don't need to know that. I mean, why would you need my working contract and my copy of the ID if you haven't even found a place where I can stay? You're just seeing my profile if it matches. So now that we've covered the topic in finding a place to live, let's go to the registering as a resident of Luxembourg. This is very important to do so because of a number of reasons. Firstly, you're gonna have to register in the commune where you live. This means that if you live in Luxembourg City, you have to register in there. If you live in Esch, you have to register in that specific commune. So after you've registered as a resident, you get access to your healthcare, tax card and SSN number. The SSN number is going to be used in every healthcare facility. Hopefully you don't have to use it, but just in case, you have it. So there's an app called doctena, which you have to download and register there. Provide your SSN number. You don't have like a personal doctor. Here you just book an appointment with a doctor, whoever is available near you. And then you go pay by cash or by card in advance or at the medical center. And after that, your employer is going to reimburse you part of that amount. The rest will be covered by the country. You're going to get your tax card 30 working days after you register as a resident. It is very important to provide this tax card to your employer, because the first month you get here, you're not going to be paid the full salary that you can expect. I'm going to put a tax calculator as well, the best one that I found online. You can calculate how much money you're going to get exactly. But don't worry, once you provide the tax card to your employer, the amount is going to be reimbursed with your next salary. It's just that the first month you're not going to receive a full salary, as I mentioned, but a higher percentage will be deducted from it. The regular tax percentage that is going to be applied to your salary is about 27%. Okay, so bank preferences. There are two major banks that people in Luxembourg usually use. One of them is Bank of Luxembourg and the second one is Sparkasse. It's not necessary to open a bank account here in Luxembourg. You can actually use your personal bank account from the country that you're coming from, and depending on what currency you are, if you're in euro, you don't actually need a bank account here. But if you want to open a bank account here, bear in mind that you cannot just go to the bank branch. You have to make an appointment that could take up to 2 weeks. The next thing I'm going to talk about is cost of products, specifically for restaurants, groceries, bars and clothing. I've gathered some information about the prices in Luxembourg that I'm going to display right now, so you can have a look at basic prices for basic products. Speaking about groceries, you should bear in mind that working hours in Luxembourg are pretty bad. Most of the restaurants in the city center start closing at around 4:30 p.m. and by the time you finish work around 7 or 6, pretty much everything is already closed. The few things that are left open work up until 10 or 12 a.m. max. That's including bars and some restaurants. As soon as you finish work, I would suggest you to go straight to the supermarket unless you want to be left without groceries. Most of the companies provide around 18 meal vouchers, each equal to €10.80. You can use them in the whole country. Okay, so the next thing is public transport. Since 1st of March 2020, the public transport in Luxembourg is completely free. This means that you can use buses, trains and trams. But bear in mind that if you live outside of Luxembourg, you can travel for free up until the border. After that, you have to pay to get to your desired city. Other than that, public transport is pretty good. It's very clean, as you can see. Bus, trams, everything is very well maintained and it's practically brand new. Okay, so the next thing is car parking zones, rent for garage, some useful applications that you can use for parking permits and speed limits. Parking in Luxembourg in general is pretty hard because the whole city center is like a big zone, different areas of the zone, but they're all paid unless it's Sunday. So from Monday to Saturday you have to pay anywhere between 1 and 2 euros per hour. But I would suggest to get a garage. The prices for the garages are usually 100 to 250 euros per month. As I mentioned, there is an application that you can use which is going to show you where exactly you can park your car, how much it's going to cost, and you can actually use it to pay your parking. It's called CT and it's very useful. So speed limits. So the speed limit for the city center is 50 kilometers per hour. In some zones it's 30, but I think that's just general for each country in Europe. So speaking about cars, we cannot go without mentioning gas prices. At the time that I'm filming this video, diesel prices are €2.02 and petrol is €1.75 per liter. For me, the best gas station is Total Energies. So speaking about cars, we have to also mention car maintenance. If you're coming from abroad with your own car, please make sure that it's in good technical condition, because most people here drive brand new cars, and I'm speaking about maximum 5 years old. If your car is more than 5 years old, you're gonna struggle finding an auto service that is going to assist you in case of an emergency. If something happens and you need to repair your car, I would suggest you to do that in Germany, in Trier, or in France, in Thionville and Metz. Also, please make sure that you bring your spare tire and emergency kit on the way coming here. Another thing that I want to mention is car washes. If you're a guy like me who likes to wash his car by his own, there are a few choices. I'm going to leave the exact location down in the description. And the last part I'm going to cover is beauty, and I'm not just speaking about you guys, but also for the ladies. If you want to do your nails, that's going to set you back up to 50 euros. The lowest that you can get is 35 euros. For the guys, barbers usually cost about 50 euros as well, depending on the type of service that you're looking for. Just a simple haircut will be between 25 to 35 euros. If you're expecting a fade cut, you're gonna have to pay 50 euros. Okay, so coming to the end of this video, the last thing that I'm going to mention is postal services. Postal of Luxembourg is pretty huge. They're actually some sort of a bank. They also have a hotel and shops where you can buy mobile phones and other mobile plans. In general, it's not that expensive, depending on the country that you're going to send your products to or you're going to receive. If you purchase things from Amazon, they usually come in the post, so you can collect them by yourself. Bear in mind that tax card and social security numbers are usually sent through the post, and also bank. For me, this is absolute madness, but this is how they do business in Luxembourg. Okay guys, I'm calling this a wrap. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you find the tips that I gave you useful. For sure, nobody mentioned those things when I came here. So this is why I wanted to do this video for you. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, as future videos will be coming up. I'm going to be traveling around Europe in the next couple of months, so there will be plenty of stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. So thank you once again for watching, and till the next time.